Ever since the establishment of the Mu chapter of the Delta Kappa Epsilon fraternity in 1856, fraternities have been a staple of social life at Colgate. The system itself has been through its ups and downs, none more so than the changes that occurred during the 1984-1985 school year. As a result of growing student concerns, the administration adopted new behavior and conduct policies in the summer of 1984. These policies prompted extensive backlash from students, and it also redefined the relationship with the administration that remains an issue today. For most of their existence, fraternities were largely unsupervised by the administration. On April 24, 1984, however, a group of 5 female resident advisors published a very controversial article in the Colgate Maroon calling for the abolition of the Greek system at Colgate. The authors were concerned with instances of harassment and rape that they saw being perpetuated by the existence of fraternities. Their main argument can be summed up with the following quote from the article: "The greatest tragedy of the Greek system is the dehumanization all of us experience as a consequence of its existence." Because records from the time are still confidential, we cannot be entirely sure of the true nature of the administration's goals. However, when the changes to the university policy were announced at the beginning of the next school year, there was no mention of fraternities being the main catalyst of the social problems at Colgate, and there was also no indication that there was any serious consideration of actually abolishing the Greek system. As Dean of the Students William Moynihan stated in a public letter, the new regulations apply to all students and reaffirm the university's standards for responsible behavior. They represent an earnest effort to define more clearly the limits of what is acceptable at Colgate. I am convinced that the changes will curb the abuses described last spring and will serve to strengthen Colgate and the fraternity and sorority system. What was clear was that the administration had dedicated itself to addressing the problems, specifically sexual harassment and alcohol abuse, that plagued life on the row. Fraternities were immediately affected. Major rule changes included a uniform closing time of 2 a.m. for all parties serving alcohol, security officers retaining the right to enter all houses at any time, and houses serving underage students would lose the right to potential rushing privileges. Minor changes included no more loitering on rooftops, and yards had to be clear of litter and debris. While most students agreed that the majority of these changes were necessary, the main objection to their implementation was the lack of student involvement in coming up with new rules. In the past, students felt like they had been included by the administration when it came to making decisions, but in this instance they felt betrayed. The Student Senate even voted to reject the new rules, but in the end the administration had the final say. The rules imposed in 1984 changed the playing field of social life. The number of official fraternities has dwindled down to 6, and while there are more alternative social options available to non-affiliated students and freshmen, fraternities remain the keystone of student life. Looking back, it would appear that the most radical consequence these changes had was on the student-administration relationship, which remains strenuous at best, and it will take a sincere, concerted effort from both parties in order to reestablish a healthy level of trust between them.